The Trailblazers, like the 76ers, did not go quietly into the night. They did what they had to do, getting the win at home by defeating the Nuggets 119 to 108. And at Hoop Army Official on Instagram says, this series has been a war, weighing in on the comment section today. And make no mistake about it, they are 100% right. At Hoop Army Official, this series has been a war. And not only has it been a war, but now it's like the old days, a big fight last night. And I don't mean fight like punches thrown and guys getting bloodied and all that, but shoving back and forth and longer and more than you would expect. Because when you're in a game 6, the last thing you want to do is get thrown out and be suspended potentially for game 7. Fortunately for all the players, that did not happen. And the rest did a good job as they could trying to separate them. But you got to give these guys a little bit of room as long as they're not throwing punches and getting too crazy, even though that would make for a lot of excitement on TV. As long as they don't start throwing punches and getting crazy, you just got to separate them, don't throw anyone out, and understand how much is at stake. I mean, these are professionals, these are competitors. And when their season's on the line, they are going to fight, especially when they feel as though their teammate received a hard foul unnecessarily. But the fight, if you didn't see it last night, is something common you see. It was really a player being sportsmanlike. There was a foul on the floor, and one of the opposing players went over to make sure that the guy that was fouled laying on the ground was okay. Well, he gets shoved by by players trying to help their teammate up, but he wasn't doing anything wrong that deserved to get shoved. He was just making sure that the guy laying down was okay. But this led to a scuffle, almost spilling into the stands, going right from the free throw line all the way to the sideline before the refs could separate the players. And fortunately for both teams kept their cool to some extent. No punches were thrown, just a lot of shoving and aggressive shoving, if you will, that made for exciting TV and a skirmish that is only going to hype the series up now for Game 7. You remember in the last series, the Trailblazers hitting the big shot over the Thunder by way of Damian Lillard, who you heard moments ago. And they want to get to the Western Conference Finals. And it would be a little bit of a shock because the Denver Nuggets are the 2 seed. But you're dealing with the Western Conference. And in the Western Conference, teams are very closely matched. And there's a very, very good chance that after tonight, we'll have 2 Game 7s in the Western Conference Finals. And it's making the road to the championship look a little bit more difficult if you're the Golden State Warriors. Because there are people and teams, players, professionals that believe that they can beat the Warriors now. It's no longer the Warriors getting by in 4, 5, 6 games. Well, they could get by the Rockets tonight in Game 6, but will they do that without Durant? Highly unlikely. And imagine those headlines if Chris Paul and James Harden cannot get the job done tonight. But more on the Warriors later. Trailblazers are in the news today, winning 119 to 108, forcing a Game 7 just like the 76ers. And that'll come this weekend. Not quite sure if both games will be on Saturday or if they're scheduled as so yet. But if the Warriors win Game 6 tonight and there is no Game 7, you got to believe the NBA might split those games, those Game 7s to Saturday and Sunday. So the NBA has some options here depending on how things go. Looking at the stat sheet last night for the winning Trailblazers, Lillard with a team-high 32 points, McCollum 30, and Hood 25. And you get all 3 of those guys with over 25 points, and it's highly likely the Trailblazers, almost 100% of the time, are going to win the game. On the other end, Jokic still playing very well every game. Nikola Jokic, that is, 29 points, 12 rebounds. And Murray, 24 points, 10 rebounds. So Murray doing a good job of getting on the boards, despite being a guard. But what will this game circle around? What will Game 7 have to show? Who will have to step it up in Game 7? And I'm going to tell you right now, the guy you can look at is Enes Kanter. He had 6 points, but more importantly, 14 rebounds. It's one thing that the Trailblazers struggle with is having a guy that can get on the boards and crash the boards night in and night out, and having Kanter back, he can match Jokic on the boards. He's not going to match him in the point category. Lillard, McCollum, and Hood will do that. But Enes Kanter's got to be in the game and getting rebounds. He needs to have almost 20 rebounds in Game 7 for the Trailblazers to win. This will take away second chance opportunities for the Nuggets, and on the offensive end, give second chance opportunities to Lillard, McCollum, and Hood, who will usually benefit off of those situations. So big fight going down last night. No different than in the UFC or boxing when guys get in a shove a match in the weigh-in. It leads to everybody talking about it, and that's the storyline today. Both of these teams fighting like the old days to win this series. And it was really good to see. It was even better to see that no punches were thrown. But it's just enough to get everybody talking and to hype up these playoffs, who many said would be the worst year in the last 10 with LeBron James out of the playoffs. But I hate to tell you, even without LeBron James, this has been one of the most exciting years of the NBA playoffs in at least the last 4 or 5, if not longer. So 2 Game 7s, one in the East, one in the West. Milwaukee Bucks waiting on the winner of the 76ers and Raptors. But we still got the Warriors and Rockets to deal with a Game 6 tonight to see if we'll have 3 Game 7s. And if we have 3 Game 7s in the semifinals, look out, people, because it's going to be hard to say that this is not a good year for the NBA playoffs. I don't know how the TV ratings are, and I really don't care, because people have many more ways to watch games now than just on TV. You have internet and all other types of ways where you can get games. You can even go on YouTube where people are live streaming, and they might not even be live streaming the game, but they're broadcasting, they're talking about the game. And there's other ways now to be driving in your car or doing whatever you're doing about your regular life. You may not be watching TV, but make no mistake, everyone's going to be listening to these games. They might even be at Mother's Day parties. They might be at other things. And if the game's not on, they're going to have a headset on trying to sneak away to listen to the score while still enjoying the Mother's Day festivities. This is like going to a wedding where you can't drink alcohol, but you put a flask in your pocket. This is what Game 7 means on this Mother's Day weekend. People will be finding a way to get minute-by-minute results of these 2 and potentially 3 Game 7s. And even if the Warriors win tonight, still having potentially 2 Game 7s on Saturday and Sunday, or maybe both on Saturday, it's going to lead to a big weekend. On a side note, you also got UFC 237, Namajunas versus Andrade. This isn't your regular week-by-week UFC fight night. This is a big deal, the once-in-a-month UFC. Namajunas, the champion, Andrade, the challenger. And this is going to be a big, big fight on hand this Saturday. And usually when you have the once-a-month UFC main event like you do tomorrow night, this Saturday night, May 11th, you can expect people to be tuning in because a championship belt is on the line. That's the situation. That's what's going on in the NBA playoffs 2019 version. When we come back, we'll talk to you about a team that we've been talking about lately, the Miami Dolphins, making another big move yesterday, a huge move, making one player on the Dolphins the highest paid player in the NFL at his position. So the Dolphins are not playing around, and they got all kinds of draft picks coming in 2020. So stay tuned. This is a community. This is your boy, Crisscross 304. We'll be right back after this.
We saved. We saved. We saved. We saved. We saved. I'm spitting truth, you can get it if you want to. Undress your sin, ask him it's possible. Running through the field, well equipped for battle. Praise his name, make sure it's no hassle. Don't tell a lie, he can read your mind. Say the wrong thing and it's best you hide. Feel his wrath at the end of the ride.